welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. We're going to be starting a brand new series, and in this video we're going to be painting a Carnival Venetian mask. We're going to be using Corel Painter 2018 because I wanted to see how all the new thick paint brushes work and all the artistic brushes that they've added. If you're following along traditionally, here's a list of the brushes that I use. A 2-inch flat wash, a number 10 bristle brush, a number 8 filbert brush, a number 10 flat brush, a number 6 flat brush, a long script brush, and a short script brush. For my canvas, I usually use canvas board or gallery wrapped canvases. The paint that I use is Grumbacher Academy, and here are the colors that I use most frequently. I also use Liquitex and Daler Rowney. And I'm going to go ahead and start by setting up the canvas in Corel Painter. And I've kept the resolution low because the screen recording kind of slows this program down when it has two programs running at once on my Surface Pro 3. But I want to go ahead and do that, and then I wanted to go and get my reference photo. And it's nice that Corel Painter has one reference photo window, and so that helps a lot. And the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and make the background, and I want to try to make it not totally black, but just kind of a dark blue. So the first thing you need to do though is kind of just sketch out your mask, and I'm going to use the number 2 pencil. This is a recent addition to Corel Painter. I think they've added it. They may have added it in the last edition, but it's fairly recent, and it does a good job of just mimicking a regular pencil so that you can do a quick sketch. And if you're following along traditionally, you'll want to either use some vine charcoal, or you can use a regular pencil too, but you just want to go ahead and kind of make a quick sketch here. It doesn't have to be completely detailed, but just kind of get the placement of the objects and the way you want them, and the size of the rows, and just kind of put those in as a quick sketch there. Remember to keep your sketch on a separate layer so that you don't cover it up, and then you can go back and refer to it, and otherwise you'll have a lot of trouble, because I've done that in the past and covered up my original sketch, and then you have a lot of trouble. So we're going to go ahead and start on the background here, and we're going to go ahead and use a dark blue. And I'm trying to use some of the oil colors, and I'm just kind of going through the category with the thick paint and seeing which ones I like the best. And some of them are pretty laggy because I'm also doing the screen recording, and they take up a lot of the memory. So I'm just trying to find out which one will work the best here. And I like the real tapered flat brush. It works fairly nice, but it kind of leaves a white fringe, so I was looking to see if there was some way that I could turn that off. And there's supposed to be an enhanced blending function on some of these brushes, and that kind of gets rid of it, but I couldn't seem to find it there, so I just went to opaque acrylic, and it works fairly nice. I like it as far as doing the background. And so then I threw in some dark blues and some dioxazine purple, and probably alizarin crimson would look nice. You can even throw in some dark green if you want to. We just want to kind of get a dark background, but I don't want it totally black. And so here I'm saving it just because sometimes Corel Painter is unstable and it crashes. So it's good to save it frequently, and also maybe even make copies of each stage so that you're not sorry later on when you when everything is gone, which has happened to me a time or two. But anyway, and then I'm using the wet oil here to just kind of blend in the background a little bit. I'm throwing in a little bit of a reddish color here. We just want a whole bunch of different colors here, and I've gone back to the opaque acrylic. It seems to be working the best for me on these brushes. If you're following along traditionally, your number 10 bristle brush will do well to do the background. And here I'm using the real long bristle from the acrylics category, which I like to use it. It's one of my favorites. And I tested out the Sargent brush here, but it didn't give me the effect that I wanted. So I'm just trying a few more real flat opaque brush and just trying several different ones to kind of see if I can get the background effect that I want. We kind of want the background to look painterly still. We don't want it to be totally flat. I kind of want it to look like it has brush strokes in the background, and that's another reason why I'm adding several different colors. So I'm just going and throwing in some sort of reddish and pink colors, alizarin crimson, and you can throw in a little bit of white acrylic gesso if you're following along traditionally, and that just kind of opaques the color, makes it a little bit stronger and not as transparent. And then I'm just kind of working on the mixing of the background a little bit and going for the real. I tried the real fan short brush, and it gives that kind of an effect, which I kind of didn't really want. So I'm mixing it with Just Add Water number 2, which is a really good blending brush. It's one of my favorites. And then I'm just kind of using it to mix in some colors here, and then I'm going through. You can see all the blending brushes that they have, and then if you really want to soften the look, you can go ahead and try the airbrush. So I went ahead and used the airbrush and added some purplish colors and blue colors, and that just kind of softened the background a little bit, but it still kept a texture there, which is what I wanted. And so I just went ahead and added that around the mask, and then I wanted to go ahead and collapse the layers down. And in Corel Painter, when you collapse the layers down, you have to first select them and then hit collapse layers, and then they'll collapse in the correct order. That took me quite a while to figure out how to do that, but once I finally figured that out, it works really nice. And then here I'm also decreasing the size of the brush, and you can use your keyboard shortcuts for that. And the shortcuts are the bracket keys, and you can either use that or just use the slider on the screen. Here I am using a black paint for the eyes, the eye holes of the mask, because I want them to look really dark and give it the, like it's not on somebody's face. It's just a mask laying on the table. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure that they were dark. And then I'm adding sort of a dark brown to the mask color. It's kind of, you can use probably a sienna or a burnt umber, maybe a raw sienna color, and just kind of give it a it's kind of a coppery look, but maybe not exactly. So you might throw in some yellow ochre here. And if you're following along traditionally, your number 8 filbert is good for just blocking in the mask. And you can zoom in on your photo reference window, which is really nice, because then you can get the details that you want for the mask and see all the little details. So I wanted to go ahead and just kind of work on the shape of the mask here, and it has a lot of intricate little designs on it that I'll have to add in later. And so I'm just blocking it in here. and I'm using the opaque acrylic brush again because it has good coverage, but it still gives kind of a brush stroke like look. And make sure again that you're doing this on a different layer than your initial sketch so that you can still have your first sketch to see where all the placement of your objects should be. And then I'm using just to add water too to go ahead and blend in the background a little and adjusting the shape of the mask there. Just trying to get it correct. And you can go ahead and blend in a few of the brush strokes on the back. And then I wanted to start underpainting the feathers a little bit. And I just used the opaque acrylic, and I'm not making them real detailed yet. I'm just trying to put in the start of them. This is the end of part 1 of our gold mask series. And in part 2, we're going to go ahead and do some more work on the feathers and also start to add on the design to the face mask. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below. And I will catch you later.